from Lloyd Russell-Moyle. Prospective parliamentary candidate. Hopefully we're looking at the next MP, a Labour MP for Brighton Kemptown. Let's kick Kirby out of the
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming. This election really is a once-in-a-lifetime election, I think. The dangers of a Conservative increased majority are palpable. The dangers to our NHS, the dangers to our schools, the dangers to the very fabric of our society. And we're already seeing that happening. Yesterday, I had someone in tears on the phone, a local constituent, because her son had been unable to access mental health services for the last 12 months, still waiting to access speaking services. The day before that, I had someone in tears because she's been for years on the housing waiting list, a waiting list in this city that unfortunately is almost 10% of our city, 20,000 people, because the Tories have tied the hands of councils up and down the country in being able to reinvest and build as much as we would like. And of course, the day before that, another case study that I could talk to you about. The day before that, another one. It's the bread and butter, of course, of councillors in this city. But it should also be the bread and butter of members of parliament. And it is, I know, in one members of parliament in this city. He does a hell of a lot in making sure that he responds to casework. But over my part of the city, our MP has gone missing for the last 2 years. Over my part of the city, our MP doesn't even bother responding to emails or letters if he doesn't like you. You sometimes get a standard pro forma. So, actually, an MP that works for Brighton, that stands up for Peacehaven, that makes sure their voice is heard from whatever party, and of course I want it to be a Labour Party MP, I want it to be myself, then actually is something that we must achieve for the people of Brighton. Now, we have an NHS that, of course, is in special measures. And when I say an NHS in special measures, let me be more accurate. We've got a CCG that's on the edge of special measures. We have an ambulance trust that's in special measures. We have a mental health trust that's in special measures. And we have a hospital that is in special measures. When I told Keir Starmer this earlier on, he jaw dropped. He said he couldn't believe it. Every single part of your NHS here in the city is in special measures. I said, yes, that is what the Tories have done to us. The Tories have destroyed and ebbed away every single part of our NHS, and they will continue to do it. They will continue to force it through. So that is why this election is so important. But it's not just about the NHS. We all know about the cuts to schools. Two of the schools in my area, Backer and Long Hill, over £500,000 being cut from their budget. It's the same with Varndine, it's the same with Stringer. But those two schools in particular I really worry about because they have both had difficult paths, and they're both on the up. Backer particularly has really started to be a really great school, and Long Hill is on that journey. And suddenly to whip out £500,000 from their budget, almost 22 teachers that is, 22 teachers. I think that puts it in stark contrast what the Conservatives are going to do and what they are already doing. So, we can bemoan about what is happening. What will Labour do? What will Labour do to make our city a great city? Well, I'll tell you a quasi-exclusive. I've just got off the phone earlier on, and the Clause 5 committee, the committee that writes our manifesto, is meeting tomorrow, so it's not yet in there. But on the table, on the Clause 5 committee tomorrow, will be a commitment for a Labour government to build a second railway line down to Brighton, a BML2. Now, as I said, it will be on the table of the Clause 5 committee. Our people there that I've been speaking to are going to be pushing darn hard to try and get that in the manifesto. It is a big, over £2.5–3 billion investment and commitment. So we've got to make the numbers balance. If we can't make them, that will be really unfortunate, but we're going to push as hard as we can because we need that in this city. We have lost tourism, we have lost work, and we have lost many people who lived in this city and used to commute out of this city because of the awful state of our railways. And not for a minute, actually, do I blame the unions who have been going through a long strike. I blame the contract that the government has given to Southern Rail, which means that they still profit every day there's a strike and have no incentive to actually negotiate around the table. And I blame Southern, who are the puppets of the government and the Department for Transport. So that is one positive. What else will the Labour government do? Well, they will make sure that the coffee shop, the small independent coffee shop owner, down St James's Street or in the North Lanes, pays not more tax as they do at the moment than the Starbucks or the chain on North Street, but a fair tax. That corporations, big corporations, cannot get away with this tax avoidance scam that they have been. That for once and for all, the small guy will be treated fairly as the big guy and the high street, on the high street. So those are things that Labour will do. We will make sure that we are getting the money in to be able to pay for the things that we value. And that's why on the national picture it's so important. In Kemptown, and I'll try and finish on the local element, in Kemptown we have 690 votes that Kirby, some call him Swiss Tony, but I couldn't possibly comment on that analogy. Those of you who are old enough will know. He needs to go, and we can do it in Kemptown. We will do it in Kemptown. We must do it, because failure cannot be an option. It cannot be an option for that mother in distress because of her son not being able to access mental health services. It cannot be an option for someone who is homeless and continues to suffer from high rent and exploitation of the private landlords. It cannot be an option for our children and for our city. So I hope that you will be working hard in Pavilion, hard in Hove, hard in Kemptown, and we will make sure that we turn this city red once and for all. Thank you.
Thanks to Lloyd, and I'm sure we all wish him all the very best for a brilliant campaign in Kemptown, and hopefully early in the hours on the 9th of June we'll be celebrating Kemptown going red, Kemptown being Labour once more, and one of our own being back in Parliament. Thanks very much, Lloyd.